So with Dune Part 2 now in theaters around the world, I wanted to give you all my full in-depth spoiler review. So with that said, let's do this. I want to start with probably my favorite aspect of this film, which is the performances, because my God, they were so friggin' good. Whether it's Timothée Chalamet, Austin Butler, Zendaya, or just anybody in this film, really, the performances were 10 out of 10 across the board, and I want to start with Timothée Chalamet. He just played this character so well this time around. He did a good job in the first film, don't get me wrong, but in this film, he really stepped up to that leadership role, becoming, I think it was Lisa okay, I'm not doing this. You get what I'm saying, the one. He becomes the one in this film, and I think he did a great job doing that. I mean, the speech in the third act, right before they go to war with the Harkonnens, was just crazy, man. And it really just gave me the full body chills when I was watching. I was like I was so tense, I had no idea what to do. I was like, what am I watching? This is like a 10 out of 10 performance. Probably Timothée Chalamet's best performance in anything ever, in my opinion, but I also haven't seen him in a whole lot, so I can't really say that very confidently, but he did a great job in this film is what I'm trying to say. But again, he's not the only one, because Austin Butler was probably my favorite character in this film. The character that he played was so psychotic and crazy, and he played it so well. Austin Butler played that psychotic character brilliantly in the best way possible. It was unbelievable, man. Like every scene he was in, he had that commanding presence that everybody feared him. I mean, Austin Butler played the hell out of that role, and I see him as this character, I want to say even more than Elvis, to be honest with you. I thought Zendaya was very likable this time around. She just had a great chemistry with Timothée Chalamet, as I believe they are friends in real life, so I'm glad that that sort of presence carried over into the film, and I thought that was great. I thought she did a great job. Could they have given her a little bit more to do? Maybe, but I thought she served her part, and I thought she was great. I'm very interested to see how they take her character in the next film, because I'm wondering if they're gonna kind of try and make her evil, because she was pissed that Paul left with, you know, the princess. I freaking loved all the performances. I thought they were 10 out of 10 across the board. Now, of course, I have to talk about the cinematography, the sound, the scoring. All of that was, again, beautifully, masterfully done. Some of the shots in this film are just spectacular. They are just so well done, so well directed. It was fantastic. And the sound design was great. I thought the first film was pretty good, but this one just adds it on another level, man. Like, I felt like I was in the movie when Timothée Chalamet is learning how to ride the sandworm, and he finally does it that first time, and he's just on top of the sandworm with the wind coming over him, and like you feel like you are there, like you are riding the sandworm with him. And I thought that was so well done. I thought it was fantastic. And then that music, that score kicks in from Hans Zimmer himself. It just gives you the chills, and it is spectacular. It was so well done. This is truly a cinematic film at its highest level. I thought the pacing of this film was also a little bit better. It moves along a lot better. I don't think it's necessarily because of the pacing. I think it's more because the content that we're consuming is more interesting than the last film. I think that's why a lot of people find the first film to be boring, and you know, that it drags, because there's nothing really exciting about the first film. It's a bunch of like dialogue dumping, establishing world building, which doesn't really appeal to the natural audience. But this film kind of has that more spectacle, cinematic experience that people are looking for in a film. I also thought that the set design was great. I don't know how much of this film is practical. I'm assuming most of it was practical, because it looked freaking real, like when they're running through the dunes, and obviously not riding the sandworms, but like everything else, I thought it looked great. The visual effects looked pretty good. Like, I didn't see anything that I was like, that didn't look good. Like, everything looked great in this film. I thought the visual effects and the CGI, I thought all that was great, but I'm not really a nitpick with visual effects. I don't really notice anything when I watch films that, VFX are bad. So I'm not the best one to judge the VFX, but for the most part, I thought it was great. Another thing that is great is that this movie flows, man. It is so smooth. Like, you can tell, like, the first act, the second act, and then the third act. And, like, it just gets better every single act. Like, it takes place right after the first film when they meet the Fremen, and then now Timothée Chalamet obviously is learning how to become a Fremen, and they're trying to figure out if he's the one. And, like, all of that is great, and him kind of discovering that he is the one is spectacular, and it's just so well done, man. This film was great. I really cannot say enough good things about it. The only con that I think people would really see with this film is that it was like another kind of cliffhanger and left you, like, oh, we're making another film, so you're gonna have to wait till that one to see how everything ends, which I can see why that would upset some people, but in my opinion, this movie was still conclusive because it was about Paul becoming the one, becoming the guy that he has been destined to become. And we get that in this film. He does end up becoming the one. And for that, I think it was a well-rounded story with a beginning and an end. Of course, they have the setup with him leaving with the great houses, and obviously we're gonna explore that in the next film, and I believe the next one is the final film, so we'll see how everything ends in that film, but I don't think that ending takes away from the overall film. I still really enjoyed everything about this film. I want to go see it again because there's just so much to grasp with this Dune universe. You gotta watch it more than once, and I plan on doing that because it was spectacular. But I would love to know what you all thought of this film down in the comments, and I hope you all enjoyed my review. So with that said, I will see you guys next time.